Hello, welcome to the channel. This is the first episode in what will be a series of short, casual movie reviews. For the first episode, I'd like to go over 2021's best films. There are five I believe stood out from the rest. Before I get to those, I want to mention a few honorable mentions here. The first two are HBO limited series, the first being Mayor of Easttown, starring Kate Winslet. This is 7 episodes, each an hour long. This is a murder mystery, and in a lot of ways, this could have been titled True Detective Season 4. It had it written all over it, the cinematography, the bleakness, Kate Winslet's character, this detective who is incredibly disgruntled and very dark. What makes this enjoyable is that the crime itself takes that back seat like it had in the True Detective series and allows us to, flesh out the main characters and their dramas going on. So really good stuff there. Give that a look. The other being Scenes from a Marriage. This is a remake of a 1973 Ingmar Bergman short series of the same title, 5 episodes long. Executive producers Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain, who are also the leads here. This is just a chilling examination of a marriage in disintegration mode. Single setting, takes place all in one home that they live in. This is not an enjoyable thing. It's worth a watch, so I'm suggesting it for a reason, but it's a hard pill to swallow. This is a good psychological examination show. The writing is strong enough that the dialogue carries you through, and it's very light on score. It lets the moment linger with the audience. Very good stuff there. The other two I want to mention are Netflix productions. I'm usually not a fan of Netflix, but the first being The Guilty with Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Antoine Fuqua, same director as The Training Day. And he's known for this formula. He's very good with police dramas that take place in LA. Jake Gyllenhaal's character in this is a police officer who's been benched, so to speak. He's on call duty at a operating, office in LA, a dispatch. And there's a forest fire going on, and Jake Gyllenhaal fields a series of calls that kind of go in a direction of a murder and a possible mystery. Don't want to give too much away. I don't suggest looking at a trailer before watching this. This is good going in blind. And again, this is a single setting piece, so you're only with him in this one area. And the writing is just strong enough between these phone calls that it keeps you engaged. Pretty good movie. So getting into my list now, I wanted to mention one more. Don't Look Up. I did not expect to. That movie, I went in kind of blind. I think I had seen pieces of the trailer and it didn't look great, but I gave it a shot. I went to the theater and I was pleasantly surprised. This is Adam McKay at it again with his formula, the very chaotic editing. And, he makes relevant movies. This is no different. He pokes fun at both sides. I like that. And it was a fun movie. It was self-aware. Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio are these scientists, and they're trying to alert the powers that be of an impending comet strike that's going to wipe out the entire Earth. And of course, no one listens, and everyone's blinded by technology and social media. And it's a statement piece for sure, but it's done with enough comedy and relief that it's an enjoyable watch. Moving on. So here are the top 5 of the year for me. Number 5, I'm going with this movie called Shiva Baby. I had to watch this one twice. The first time I saw it, it was good, I thought, but I didn't get it, maybe. Second time around, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like this is the 2021 version of Uncut Gems. It is chaotic. It's anxiety-inducing. The setting is a Shiva with a devout Jewish family who are, for those of you who don't know, a Shiva is a ceremonial post-funeral gathering of close friends and family to mourn. And this girl, our lead character played by Rachel Sennett, is basically kind of judged by her family, and they're pretty critical of her decisions. And something goes down in the middle of this shiva with her and her family, and it's very tense and very funny. I'll leave it at that. Check it out. So number 4 is Saint Maud. This movie is really dark, and it is not for the devout Catholic who is easily offended. This is a movie where I wouldn't call it a horror. It was marketed as a horror film, and I don't think it's a horror film. It didn't get any traction. Like, I saw it in an empty theater. But going over the details, we have Rose Glass, first-time director. The movie feels like it was in the hands of a very experienced person at the helm. So props to her on that. Stars Morfydd Clark and Jennifer Eel, 2 actresses I don't believe I've seen before. And it's about this hospice nurse who basically takes on this patient who is the worst. She smokes and drinks and doesn't want to listen and take her medication, and she's, living out the rest of her days in her own way. And our lead character is a very devout Catholic girl, and she basically takes it upon herself to try and save the soul of this patient. Really, really creepy stuff at hand. Really good editing. I mean, the direction, I can't give enough props to. Really strong stuff. So that's my number 4. Number 3, we have Pig. This is written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, starring the one and only Nicolas Cage. We love Nicolas Cage. This is probably his strongest performance since leaving Las Vegas. I think this is definitely worthy of a nod from the Academy. I hope he gets nominated for this. This was strong work. This was marketed as a John Wick style movie in the sense that, his pig was kidnapped, just like John Wick's dog was, whatever. I don't want to be spoiling movies here, but anyhow, the similarities in the trailer were there, but when everyone went to see this movie, they got a very different thing. This is a very dark, very kind of tragic, dramatic movie. Nicolas Cage plays a retired chef who's living in the outskirts, this forest in Oregon, basically close to Portland, and him and his truffling pig just live basically in solace in this forest. And as I had mentioned, the pig is kidnapped, leading him to believe that it was done maybe because of the value of the pig, but as the plot unfolds, we get something much more. And there is a scene in the end of this movie that just flattened me and the few people that were in the audience. This scene is just strong stuff, and it's the stuff of movies. Really, really good. Hopefully Cage gets nominated. He plays it really close to the vest in this. He doesn't do too much, so... Moving on, so my personal favorite and most enjoyed movie of the year is The Green Knight, directed by David Lowery, starring Dev Patel. This has Alicia Vikander, Joel Edgerton, and Sean Harris. And this is an adaptation of a late 14th century piece, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, written by Anonymous. And it's one of your Arthurian legends, which I'm not really into that sort of thing, but this movie just did it for me. A24, they came through on this one. Movie takes place on Christmas, where you have King Arthur holding this huge feast at Camelot, and you have Sir Gawain, which is his nephew, at his side, and they exchange stories, and in the middle of a speech that King Arthur's giving, they're interrupted by this mysterious figure who breaks in. He's a knight, and he challenges them to what he calls a Christmas sport, a Christmas game. Basically a exchange of blows, one being right then and there, the next being in a year, which prompts Sir Gawain to respond and undertake this journey thereafter. Really good movie. Dev Patel is always very, very good. And you had Alicia Vikander, who's very good as well. I think this is the strongest cinematography I've seen since Blade Runner 2049. I think this is definitely worthy of that award. I don't think it'll get any recognition for anything else, but if it were to be considered, it should be considered for cinematography. Score was also very good. Very, very good. So, moving on. The number one best movie of the year for me is a movie called Mass. I recently saw this movie, the tail end of the year. First-time director as well, Franz Kranz, starring Ann Dowd, Martha Plimpton, Jason Isaacs, and Reed Birney. This is a single setting piece as well, just heavy dialogue, little to no score. This is a tense movie. This is strong stuff here. And I do think that this one will not miss the critics and the suits in Hollywood. I think this one's going to be up for a few awards. Don't be surprised. And I don't want to go into too much detail about the movie because it's another one that I think you going in blind is beneficial. Just be warned, this is, like I said, a gut-wrenching movie. And if you want to talk about relevance, this is a whole lot relevant. It's basically two groups of parents who are meeting for the first time years following a horrible, horrible tragedy. And I'll leave it at that. The acting, the editing, the tone of the movie is strong. It is very good. And even though it's not my most enjoyed movie of the year, I would be remiss if I did not put this at number one because it's just that good. You know, every year you got a whole slew of movies that come out, and I feel like, yeah, you may enjoy some, but some are just like all around important movies to be seen. I think everyone needs to watch this movie, especially America. So give it a look. That's going to do it here for the 2021 Best Of. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.